Hi, my name is Sam Led, and welcome to The Fearless Now. This is for you in the nosebleed seats if you're looking for an easier way to approach anxiety, stress, and unhealthy habits from the inside out. There's no techniques and no strategies, so sit back, relax, and let me be your peace of mind Uber driver here on The Fearless Now. Welcome to The Fearless Now podcast. My name is Sam Led. I'm a transformational coach. And this podcast is for you in the nosebleed seats. Episode number 23. We've made it, everybody, in the mid-20s almost. And I am sitting here at my desk here in beautiful Santa Barbara, California, getting ready, God willing, in a couple months or before then to make my way across country to join my beloved partner in Asheville, North Carolina, where I'll be doing what I love doing, is talking to all of you, sharing some insight and wisdom of the three principles, some of my personal insight, do some heart-centered conversation, and then, eventually I'm going to have guests on. I just wanted to get a couple dozen of these under my belt, and so that's what I'm doing. Exciting thing, I'm going to be a guest on a couple podcasts next month and then into the summer, and hopefully that will build. I'm going to talk about my book that is launching in the next couple months. I've been saying that for a couple years now, but actually it's getting kind of serious because I got an editor. I'm going to put my big boy pants on, and we're making it happen. Looking at publishers. I got an editor. It is happening. I just wanted to know, how you guys doing? How you doing? So, you guys getting through the pandemic okay? Are you getting through the pandemic okay? Are you? How's the vax doing? You get the vax yet? You get the second vaccination yet? Maybe the third? Who knows? I know. I stole it from Mark Maron, but I still love doing that. So what are we going to talk about on this beautiful Friday afternoon here in Southern California? I was listening to a couple of my mentors. Actually, they're the elders of the Three Principles community, the three principles that I've shared with all of you since I began this podcast, my God, 7 months ago. And the wisdom of Sid Banks, who was like this, if you believe in prophets, this very ordinary man, as a lot of the elders in the three principles, a lot of the other 3Ps practitioners, coaches, authors of this understanding call him the Scottish mystic. This gentleman with a ninth grade education stumbled upon this wonderful insight. He had this vision, this epiphany. He didn't have to live in his thinking for the rest of his life. That we have this moment right now that in real time, you over there in the nosebleed seats have real agency and freedom despite your situation. You're wealthy, you're sick, you're old, you're young, whatever your circumstance is, you could feel good. You could be filled with love. You could just be present and enjoy your life right now in this moment. So, what is really true about all that? About this moment? About your life? About your circumstances? About your situation? Well, I think we should kick it off with a quote from Sid Banks. Sid Banks said, "Just because you think it's true doesn't mean it's true." What does he mean by that? Well, whether you're a doctor or a lawyer or you're a professional, you're a president in the United States, a teacher, whoever you are, and you're in a position of authority, just because you say something is true or factual, even if it's in a study, doesn't necessarily mean it's true. And, before I was introduced to these principles, I always listened to what the authorities said. If the government official says it's true, it must be true. If my parents said it's true, it must be true. If this lawyer over there who has been practicing law 30 years says that's true, then it must be true, which is complete bullshit. You can end up chasing your own tail, believing everything that someone tells you is true that you look up to. And so before I was introduced to the understanding of the three principles, I was always running around chasing other people's tales of truth, trying to find my own sense of self. What ended up happening is I got caught up in this future fantasy doom and gloom thinking. I was stuck in this virtual wormhole of past fuck-ups. And I grew up always on edge, always waiting for the proverbial shoe to drop. And that's no way to live. That's for a lot of us that have issues with anxiety, or we think we have issues with anxiety, we get caught up in our own sped up thinking. It can lead to a lot of suffering and a lot of unnecessary emotional anguish. And all of that was put to the test 16 years ago, I was faced with a set of horrible legal challenges that I thought would be the end of me. And everything that I thought was true was under attack. And it was where my whole world came crashing in. And I discuss what happened to me in my book, my upcoming book, my first effort. And during that time, 16 years ago, I thought that was it, that I was in slow motion suicide mode. And then all of a sudden, one day, I just gave up on hope that I had a future, that, I had some kind of destiny of getting out of the legal mess that I found myself in. So I started to live by the seat of my pants, and just like I am right now in this moment. And what I mean by seat of my pants is living really, really in the moment. I've never been so fucking present in my life than I am now in my mid-40s. The last couple decades of my life, I've lived constantly in a state of anxiety, fear, anticipating the worst, waiting for the other shoe to drop, and that's no way to live. That's no way to be. And what I really saw for the first time is when I realized what wasn't true. I spent all growing up listening to the you betters. You know what the you betters are? I bet you all of you know. The you better do this or something's going to happen. So growing up, we all have this saying, you better wear a jacket or you'll catch cold. Or you better be careful on the subway. You don't want to get mugged. You better be careful crossing the street. Look both ways. You don't want to get run over by a car. Well, yeah, it's probably a good idea. It's just common sense to look both ways before crossing the street. But does that really mean that you're going to get hit by a car? Just say if you forget to look both ways once in a while. And again, I'm not saying you shouldn't look both ways. I mean, are you automatically going to get sick, going to get the flu, going to come down with some horrible illness if you forget to bring your jacket and you're outside and you're cold for a little bit? Maybe, but is it 100% true? Just because your parents or a friend or your boss says something is true, it doesn't mean it's true. And when we start to really see that the things in our life that are true, there's a chance for us to just kind of relax into the moment of our life, relax into the now. And that's where hope comes from. We relax into hope, into hoping for a better tomorrow, for a better now by being here now. That's when we relax into hope. And if you even talk to people that have survived cancer, I'm sure some of you know, or all of you know someone who's have had stage 4 cancer, just terminal cancer, and they came out of it. Yeah, maybe it was a miracle. And they gave up all hope, right? But the doctor would tell the patient, it's not looking good. You better get your affairs in order. I don't think you're going to live 6 months. You may not make it. We hear this all the time from the so-called professionals that play Nostradamus, that take away our hope, and then we lose hope, but then we survive. There's never a moment where we should lose hope, even when it seems like the end is near. Never, ever. And then, even if you do lose hope and you're just living in the moment, living by the seat of your pants, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Today could be the last day of your life. When you relax into even not being hopeful and just being present, the chance of being around tomorrow, the chance of a miracle is ever present. And we all know people that have survived terrible health challenges that doctors predicted would be, 2 to 4 months, and then death was knocking on the door. And so I really want you to see that there's always hope, that we have this internal system outside of the periphery of our supercomputer called our brain that's built into all of us. When we relax into hope, when we get present, or even when we lose hope and we're just like, okay, I don't know what to do. God, I'm here. If you want to take me, go ahead and take me. But I'm just going to be really present, live by the seat of my pants. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I'm just going to be here right now. And when we do that, when we either give up hope or we relax into hope and we get really present and get really calm, sometimes something wonderful happens. All of a sudden we get better. All of a sudden we figure out how to get out of our terrible situation that we're in, whether it's financial or legal or whatever, what have you. It doesn't really matter. We start to appreciate the most minute things in life, knowing that, you know what, this day might be gone tomorrow. When we live in the moment and we relax. And when we relax into the moment, we find our hope. And if our situations appears hopeless, we also can let go and relax. We can also relax and have no hope. So what is true? What is true with all of you right now? What I know what is true is that you're listening to this podcast. You're listening to my voice right now, whether you're in your office, whether you're sipping coffee in a coffee shop, by yourself with one earbud in, just enjoying this podcast. Or maybe you're driving to work during rush hour traffic. You are here with me right now. There's no emergency. No one's chasing after you. You're not at death's door. You're right here with me right now. In this moment. And we all have this God-given moment. All of you. That's the gift of being alive and the gift of being conscious in this moment, whether you are sick, old, homeless. I mean, I'm just going to paint the worst case scenario in the world. You have this moment right now. You know, as Sid Banks once said, get out of the future, get out of the past, and get over yourself. And once you get over yourself, my friends, only the present moment feels true. It really does. And once you see that your current difficult circumstances are fleeting, they're not going to last forever, that, yeah, you may be sick with some kind of condition right now, but you still can be hopeful that tomorrow or maybe a month from now, you might feel better, that your current circumstances are fleeting, that they will not last forever, that you can easily drop out of your head and relax into hope, or not, or relax into having no hope and just still being present with me right here and right now. So I want you to really hear this. If you need to replay this episode again from the beginning until it really sinks in with you, that living in the feeling of possibility in this moment right now is an amazing place to be. It really is. Living in the feeling of enjoyment, living in the feeling of presence, literally listening to my voice with 2 feet on the ground, sitting here with me, is the first step to getting really present and to seeing how wondrous your perfectly imperfect life is in this moment. Whether you are unemployed, homeless, sick, elderly, or young, it has nothing to do with your circumstances. When we appreciate this moment right now, the feeling of possibility, even if it is small, the feeling of hope, even if it's small, comes into our field. It really does. You know, I don't want to issue you guys homework, but I'm going to do it. For the next couple of weeks, I want you to live in the present moment as much as you can. And you know when you're in your head, you know when that worry machine starts up, when the anxiety soundtrack kicks into overdrive, when the tape called anxiety automatically hits play. When you live in the feeling of enjoyment, anything is possible, my friends. Absolutely anything. I hope this episode has been helpful for all of you, for you in the nosebleed seats. This program is made possible by all of you. Please tell your friends, especially your friends that need this right now. It's been helpful for a lot of people. I've been getting great comments and feedback on this podcast. This podcast does not come for free. I have to pay someone to edit and mix this recording. So please like and subscribe, comment, and tell your friends so they can tell their friends and they'll tell their friends and so on and so on. Thank you, everybody. I will see you again for another episode of The Fearless Now.